way that I'm going to talk about today, you could be ruining all your relationships because of it. Hi, my name's Christine L. Conroy. Welcome to Happy Stuff and Fluff, a channel for women who are getting happy, living longer and growing younger. And yes, I really mean it. You could actually be ruining all your relationships. We're talking about mind traps, cognitive distortions. And if you've been watching the Mind Trap series, you will know that there are quite a few cognitive distortions. And I've talked about quite a few of them. And some things that they all have in common is that they are thinking patterns. They are false or inaccurate ways of thinking, and they have the potential to limit your happiness at best and cause psychological damage at worst. And today's mind trap is no different. So I'm talking today about black and white thinking. You may have heard it called these things too. All or nothing thinking, polarized thinking, or dichotomous thinking. I like black and white because once again it does what it says on the tin. Because what it's talking about is thinking in extremes, or absolute ways of thinking, where something is either right or wrong, all good, all bad, perfect or failure. These are examples of black and white thinking, and they can seriously damage. This can seriously damage your working relationships, your personal relationships, and possibly most important, your relationship with yourself. Of course, it can also affect your health, both physically and mentally. So, what are we talking about then? Well, a simple thing. Have you ever started a conversation with your partner like this, where you've said something like, "You never ring me when you say you will," or "You always forget to turn the lights off before you come to bed"? That's black and white thinking. Now, can you see how attacking that is? You always do this and you never do that. Always and never are such absolute terms that there's just no room for manoeuvre. And you're on the attack, and therefore the person on the receiving end of that immediately goes on the defensive, and that's when arguments can start. Always and never are probably two of the strongest triggers for you to know that, oops, I'm slipping into black and white thinking here. If you hear yourself thinking along those lines of always and never, they're the two, I think, most important ones. But there is a black and white language, other words that are triggers, such as these: impossible, failure, disaster. Always and never are in there, totally and completely. You see, they're absolute terms. So, for example, you might think an example could be, "Oh, I didn't finish writing the paper, so it was a complete waste of time." I've heard myself say that. It's a complete waste. I think this is the thing about these cognitive distortions. We all do all of them at some time or another. It's if we make a continuous habit of it that we get sucked into the dreaded downward spiral to depression. So that one, complete waste of time. I've heard myself say that. Let's say there's no point me playing, I don't know, netball if I'm not 100% in shape. They didn't show up. They are completely unreliable. This is impossible. I can't do it. Let's say you're going for a promotion and there's 3 of you and someone else gets the promotion, and you say to yourself, "I'm never going to get that promotion." Now, the problem with that is 2 things can happen there. I will never, that means end of. I will never get that promotion. So the danger is that you don't try anymore. You don't try in your job, or you might feel that you're never going to get the promotion, and so it taints your job that you liked at one time and now you don't like anymore because you feel you will never get that promotion. They didn't show up. They are completely unreliable. You've made that decision, that judgment that they are completely unreliable with no room for manoeuvre, so we're never going to ask them to do anything again, are we? She always does that. She is totally mean. These are black and white terms. Now, why do we do it? Well, this is interesting. Why do we do it? Subconsciously, I guess, it's because it often dissolves us of any responsibility for what's particularly happening. So he is always like that, mean it's his fault. This has nothing to do with me. He is always like that. Condemned man. I will never get this promotion means so I'm never going to get the promotion. There's no point in me doing anything or, putting anything into action. It's kind of a victim mentality. Or it may even mask what you're really thinking. I have to be perfect because if I'm not, I'll be judged as unworthy. Or even, I have to appear to be perfect because if I'm not, people will know I am unworthy, and you are possibly hiding these feelings of unworthiness from yourself. So what can we do about it? Well, black and white thinking is also, if you think about it, a fixed mindset. This or that, can or can't. You either have it or you don't. That's a fixed mindset. So I suggest you go back and watch the growth mindset videos. I will leave links to the growth, if you don't know what a growth mindset is. I know I've said this before actually, and I'm going to do another growth mindset. One or two of you have asked me to do more on the subject. But for now, go back and watch the growth mindset videos that we've already done. But then I want you to write these down. Now, if you have a pen and paper, what I want you to do, if you catch yourself, because this is the thing, this is where it becomes work, catching yourself engaging in black and white thinking, self-awareness, it's not always easy because we think on autopilot and we're well into it before we even know what's happening. It's being able to catch yourself while the thought is here before it comes out of your mouth. That's the practice you have to get, and it does come easily once you try it. What I want you to do is I want you to ask these questions. The thought you've had. So he is always mean. Let's say that. Ask yourself, is it true? Is that thought true? Is he always mean? Has he never done a nice thing in the whole of his life? Because if he's been kind just one time, then no, he's always mean is not true, because he wasn't mean that one particular time. So straight away, is it true? The answer is no. Is it helpful? Is that thought helpful to you? No, it isn't. Think to yourself, is this thought helping me live the life I want to live? Get to where I want to be? So it isn't helpful for you to think that the person you're with is mean, and nor is it helpful to the other person for someone to be judging him in that way or her in that way. Is it fair? Well, obviously, if it isn't true, then it isn't fair. And is it kind? It certainly isn't kind to either yourself or to someone else to have those thoughts. So those are the 4 questions. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it fair? And is it kind? And now, once you've done that and you've started to dismantle this thought, then you can start to use shades of grey language. In this particular context, of course, which is words such as perhaps, not yet, always and never becomes sometimes, because obviously sometimes he might forget to turn the lights off before he goes to bed, or he might not ring you when he says he will. So always and never becomes sometimes. Often is another good word. When you get this thought, he is mean, shall we say, then instead of, when you catch yourself, then you have this thought, I am thinking that this person is mean. You're detaching yourself again from the actual statement itself. I am thinking in a black and white way. And then you could say to someone, I'm noticing that when I come to work, for example, you tend to act in a certain way, and I wonder if I've done anything to upset you. It's about changing your language when you're speaking to someone. What if is another one. So if you think to yourself, I'm never going to get that promotion, and instead you think, well, what if there's something I could change that would give me more chance of getting that promotion? And I wonder, curiosity, I've said this to you before, curiosity is the same thing. I wonder, it's the same as what if, really. I wonder if there's something I could do. I wonder if I could look at this a different way. And that's the shades of grey language. That's black and white thinking in a nutshell, and that's a great way to help you. If you do engage in black and white thinking, let me know in the comments box below, but write down, is it true, is it helpful, is it fair, is it kind? These are questions to ask yourself about your thinking, not just black and white thinking, but for now, apply it to any black and white thought you might have, and use always and never as trigger points and some of the other words, and that's going to help you. When you're aware of it, you're 3/4 of the way there to changing it, and these little exercises will push you over the line so that you can get out of the habit of black and white thinking and into a more balanced way of thinking, which will enrich your life and your relationships. I hope that helped. I'll see you next time, and until then, remember that on the Happy Stuff and Fluff, we're getting happy, living longer and growing younger, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.